Hey guys, it's Barrett with the Gimme Camper. I wanted to thank you for joining in today. This is going to be a review on our TireMinder 77 system. The system's been great. It saved us a blowout or two, and I'm going to go over all that in a minute. But first, I wanted to say thank you for the sponsor of this video, which is TireMinder. So they reached out to me asking me if I wanted to try one of their new systems. And I said, that would be great because I love this old system. And I saw their customer service. We'll get into that in a minute too. But they're going to give me something, so I'm going to give you something. So the first thing that we're going to give you is a Gimme Camper hat. Then we're going to give you a Gimme Camper mug. And then, thanks to our guys down at TireMinder, we're going to be able to give you our TM77 system. And we're going to go over that in great detail in a minute, so don't go anywhere. Wow. And then we're going to give you one of these bad boys right here. I love this thing. So this is check your pressure with. It's accurate up to plus or minus 1 pound of pressure, and it's great. It's built real sturdy. I love it. They sent me one so I could pass it on to you. I'm highly angry at myself because I can't find mine at this moment. It's lost in my junk somewhere, but I'm giving you this one. I'm not being greedy and keeping it for myself, even though I want to. Okay, so when we're going to do the giveaway, we're going to do it March 30th. At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do a live the way we did the last couple. I don't really like lives, but that's what we're going to do. So March 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in, see if this bad boy is going to belong to you. Hey guys, real quick before we get into this video, I had one more thing that I forgot about that I want to say, and that's about TireMinder's customer service. Now, their customer service is #1. So on Our Village, they have a TireMinder group. If you don't know what Our Village is, then Our Village is basically, it's kind of like a Facebook. It's a social media site, and it's for people that are in RVs and traveling around. And it lets you check in to different places and virtually or in person meet people that are in your local area that have similar interests. I found it really helpful. I really liked the rally last year. Well, I guess it was 2 years ago. This last year, they didn't have it because of COVID, and I don't think that we're going to have it again. But I highly suggest going to that website, join up, and meet new people in the area. Now, back to our point is TireMinder has a group on Our Village. Somebody went onto that group. They only said about a problem they were having. They were just asking if anybody had any advice, pretty much. And TireMinder got on there and they answered them. And not only did they answer them, they sent them a new product, a replacement product, and solved their issue. So they were so happy, of course, with their customer service that they got without even contacting customer service, that they let everybody in the group know about it. And what can you say about that? I give that 2 thumbs up. So I want to start by saying that this system has saved me a blowout the very first trip that we used it on. So the first trip that we took it on was we went to Myrtle Beach State Park. We were almost all the way back home in Southeast Tennessee. We were in Dalton, Georgia, and this thing started alarming, saying that there was a high pressure leak in one of the tires on the camper. I pulled over. I'm going to try to find some video of it here, but there was a cut in the sidewall of my tire. Now, I do have Trailer King tires. I didn't upgrade the tires yet, and for me they work great, especially when you pair it with something like this. Now, any tire I think would have had this issue because it looks like it was cut on something. I don't know if I rubbed the side of a curb or something, but there was a little slit in the sidewall. And so, you know, I can't blame that on the tire. So logic says that it was probably something that just punctured the side of it. I don't know how, because we were driving, we were moving, but that's what my brain says. I don't know about yours. However, this little doohickey here saved my world, because I know that I would have had a blowout if it would have kept deflating, right? Now, what I decided to do right there is probably not the best idea, but we were 15 miles from home, and so I just stopped and put some air in the tire. I got an air compressor in the camper, put some air in the tire. We limped about 5 or 6 more miles and kept up with the pressure on this thing. And when it dropped again, we stopped, pulled over, aired it up that 2 or 3 times, and we were home. That way I could change the tire in the comfort of my own muddy yard, which didn't end up being a blessing. I'll tell you that. I should have just changed it where we were. All right, so I'm going to go over a couple of cons here because I want to be 100% honest. And the cons aren't really with the TireMinder system. They're with the systems that I'm working with the TireMinder system. So the TireMinder system's been great, but it's really recommended that if you use this thing, that you use metal valve stems. I wanted the sensors to be on my truck. That was my biggest problem. I couldn't find a metal valve stem with the TPMS sensor for the truck. I just liked it that the sensors were on the truck too, because it gave you temperature readings plus the air readings, right? And so I felt more confident in that. But I have had 2 valve stems in my truck start leaking, and they were both right at the base of the valve stem. And so it wouldn't be leaking at all unless you move the valve stem laterally just a little bit, and then it would just spray air out of there. First time was on the way to Myrtle Beach State Park. We were staying at a Cabela's. Luckily, we were right next to a Costco. I had to unhook, but they took the truck in, fixed the tire stem. They were very apprehensive when they told me the price to fix the tire because I didn't buy the tires there. They were like, oh, you know, you didn't buy the tires here, so I have to charge you for this service. And when I went back to pay for it, they were like, I'm sorry, but I got to charge you. And I'm like, well, how much is it? And it was like $7.50. I was like, well, that's the way the world works, and that's a lot cheaper than what I thought it was going to be. So now I did have that happen the second time. And after the second time, I did take the sensors off of the truck tires. As far as the trailer tires, at first I wasn't able to find a metal valve stem. And so I've just been running them without it because I've never had a problem on the trailer tires with the valve stems. But TireMinder did reach out to me and they gave me another idea about that one. And so I'm going to do that, and we'll have a follow-up video on that. But after 1 year, I've not had any problems with the valve stems on the trailer, because I did buy metal ones for it, but the way that the wheel's shaped, they wouldn't mate up to it. And by the way, those valve stems that they recommended are Colby valve stems, the short ones. And apparently you can change those out yourself and not even have to go anywhere and not even have to let all the air out of the tires. So sounds like a good option for me. I'm going to do it. I just hadn't got around to it yet. Now, the next thing that was initially a worry of mine was that you could take off in the truck and you could go to town, forget that this thing's turned on, and it wouldn't beep for a long time saying that it lost connection. So it made me wonder, like, am I really getting a reading every so many seconds like they say I am? Because this thing's not telling me for a long time that it loses connection. There's a secret to that. So this thing is programmed only to let you know that it lost connection after 60 minutes. The reason is that the sensors are actually what detects the alarm. And so they send passively to the transmitter the tire pressure every so often. The transmitter just interprets that and puts it on here for you. Now, because it does it passively, that's to save battery strength, right? Because it does it at a lower signal intensity. If you have an issue, the sensor then causes the alarm. So it's the little sensor on your tire that causes the alarm and sends it with an increased intensity to this so that it will be more often updated. And because of that too, they let me on a little secret. So if you turn this thing on, it's going to have some stuff displayed here, right? Now you can flip through here and push up and down, and you can see the different pressures on your different tires. And it shows you where they are as far as how you programmed it, okay? Now, the issue with that is that these pressures aren't up to date. Because it was passively, it was like the last reading, probably if you just turned it on from the last time you parked the trailer. Well, the workaround for that is if you do the auto scroll, which you get to by pushing the power button one time, then it erases all of that passive data in there, and it starts all over scrolling for real-time pressures in your tires right at that moment. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt this because apparently what I just told you is wrong. It's wrong. I'll admit I made a mistake. So the guys down at TireMinder, they told me that I was giving you a little bit of misinformation. When you use the auto scroll button where you push this once and it scrolls through, that does not erase everything and start over. That's the auto search function, which is a little bit different. You access it differently. You hold the middle button down and the right button down at the same time. And after 5 seconds, it's supposed to beep. And then it says that the PSI is 0 and the temperature is 32 in all 4 tires. Now they said it can take 2 to 6 minutes for it to update, and that's going to give you the most real-time information that you can get. So that's what you want to do before you start a trip if you want to get the latest and greatest information from your tires. All right, so that did take about 4 or 5 minutes, but it put the numbers up here. It did start like one at a time, and they just kind of gradually showed up. And so now that it shows up and you can scroll through, and you know that this is the most up-to-date information. Another thing that I have to say about this transmitter is that the battery life has been really good. I didn't want a lot of cords hanging all over the dash, and so I just charge this thing up every now and then, and it seems to last. You know, we go on a trip every other weekend, and this thing I've charged like every 2 or 3 months. And so it really holds a charge, and it really does great, and I have no complaints about it whatsoever. I do also, you know, I had a little video about the TM66 before I got this one, and I gave that away. I also really like that the antenna is solid and rubberized, because the other one on the 66 I was afraid was going to break. I have 0 complaints about this system. The system is great, and I'm giving it away. So what you need to do and do your part is to go to the comments right down there, make a comment that's going to enter you to win this bad boy. Now I do some giveaway videos. Nobody ever really enters them. I did a Viair air compressor a few months ago, and that gave you like a 1 in 80 chance to win because nobody commented on the video hardly. Go down there and comment on it, because you're going to want to win this thing if you don't have a TPMS for your camper. It's great.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.